Let's talk about Sin. He reminds me a lot of his Exerd self. He still feels like his objective is like mid-range control into like very explosive momentum and damage when he does get his chances to hit you. I think his mid-range control is not as good as Exerd, but I think it's also pretty different. I think in Exerd, he wanted to initiate running at you and like swinging far slash or 2S or elk or whatever he wanted to do. And in this game, I think he gets a lot more reward for being second, stuffing someone else's approach or whip punishing. You probably heard a lot of people say this button is really bad because it's slow. But the thing about this move is that it hits pretty far and you always get beak into this. Like you have to be whip punishing something from like really far for this to not work. Like the reward you get off of it, this for no meter and the corner carry is absurd. And his 2S is also really good because it's faster, it's 12, and the end of it is disjointed. These two buttons are like the cornerstone of what he wanted to do in Exerd, and I think it's the same in this game. 2D is also 10 frames. This is a pretty fast low. And even if you hit like that, you can still dash cancel or do the, what's it called? The follow-up and gain pressure off of it, right? His lights are fantastic. 2K is extremely far, and 2D reaches from really, really far away after. His 5K just has excellent reward too, particularly on counter hit. He can reach very easily with whatever he wants to do. And this is really solid. Being able to link like this on counter hit and get actual damage and reward is not that common. He has, it's 7 frames. It is really good as a frame trap. Particularly because in the corner, this move, right? 6K is +3 on block. When you're like going for stuff like this, obviously having a frame trap that leads to damage is really good. And 6H is not only a big counter hit starter, right? Which is obviously very nice to begin with. But besides that, 6H is only -4 on block. Got a lot of pushback and only slightly negative. Look at how fast this move is actually. It's actually really good for neutral too. And on top of that, his special moves I think are pretty solid. This move is not great on hit or block, but the pushback on it is pretty severe, and you can actually just rely on poking and like whip punishing with it pretty consistently. I think Elcon is incredibly good. -8 on first hit, which is not great, but second hit is +8, and obviously you have the dash cancel. So even if they're blocking, right? So like if they're blocking this is tons of corner carry. Besides that, I think the other nice thing, because this is threatening and this is threatening, so this will beat Elcon. But if people are just sticking out lows to beat Elcon, I think you're totally fine with it because you can just dashing beak like this, right? So dashing beak or dash 2S. And not only that, but it goes under a lot of stuff too, as an example. So I don't know, actually know if this works, but yeah, I just assume it does. And if it does counter hit, the reward on it is very good. He can take a knockdown like that. He can even get more damage too if you want with this. Look at the corner he gets on that. Like, that is really good. Yeah, Hoof Stomp, I don't know how to stress how many random lows this beats. Like, people were doing it to me on round start and it like beat the buttons I was hitting and I was like, what the fuck? His combos after getting counter hit on his follow-ups are also good if you happen to mash on this. It does take a lot of stamina, but look at this, meterless damage. In the corner, it's great too because he doesn't even need to dash cancel necessarily to do the combo, right? So he can just do this. And so that's 1 bar of stamina. And if you want to be really easy, you can just do this. Another thing is, I think this button is absurd. Like 6K is, even on something like this, the move goes so far. Look at how far away that hits. That's +3 on block, but it's also special cancelable. So there's nothing wrong with this either. You know, it's gonna be elk though, but you can also just do that too. Beak driver is -14. Yeah, but you also have the true block string follow-up. That's only -3 on block. Most of the time you're not doing beak like this. You know what I mean? Most of the time you're doing beak like this. Anyway, so it's not like it really matters that much. His damage and carry is really good. Like, I think being able to do this meterlessly is extremely strong. His anti-air game and reward is also very good too. Like even doing that as an anti-air, having such a, being able to do this and get Oki off of an anti-air really easily, or do this. His XP damage is also very good. For a humongous anti-air, like look at how far that is. His air-to-air is really solid. This is also good. So, you know, is it true 5P whiffs on standing Geo? Yeah, most characters 5Ps whiff on standing Geo. I'm surprised so many people said that because that just means a lot of people don't know anything about the game. Like, the week the game came out, people would post videos of their characters 5P whiffing on Geo. She got the gamer slap. And also, it doesn't really matter because, like, this move is... I don't try to hit crouching opponents with 5P, or standing opponents even, really. I only want to hit this against opponents who are jumping. It's also the same thing where, like, people say stuff like, oh, his far slash is punishable on block. There's, like, tons of characters, far slashes, who are just punishable on block. Like, it comes up sometimes, but, like, 90% of use case, it won't really happen. Like, he has cancel options, and he can space it out. Remember when Baiken came out? SQ labbed a bunch of stuff like, oh, if she does, like, 2D and then does tatami like this, you can hit this button to punish this and this, and it, like, made all of Baiken's options look terrible. But, like, how often do you see that happen? Almost never does any of it come up. Like, it's nice to know, and it does happen sometimes. But SQ shows up, shows some shit that's like punishable on hit or something, and then vanishes into the night, and Twitter explodes. I don't mean to call her out in particular because I think the tech is good, but it's always like she uploads a video just to show an idea. And then everybody's just like bottom one this and that and this and that. It's like, oh my God. I don't know. I think Sin's pretty solid is my first impression of him. I think he has some problems. He does have a stinky backdash. On one hand, it goes really far, but on the other hand, it's never airborne, which sucks for BRC kind of, because you can't do BRC instant overheads if you never leave the ground. And it just has a lot of recovery. He doesn't have a good cross-up button. That's one thing that is certainly a problem. I don't think that there's really an incentive to eat that much, which I don't think is a problem, but I know a lot of people don't like it because when they think of Sin, they think of him eating food, right? We want Eat to be good because people like when Sin eats. But I think, like, he doesn't strike me as a weak character or like a character who's really bad as a first impression. I think he's pretty good. I don't know. The other characters, they were like, all right, well, we gave Ram these moves. We can't give them to something else. I think that's basically what happened. They're like, all right, we fucked up, but we'll never fuck up again. Uniqueness is cool. It would be unique if Ram's normals, when she hit them, she instantly died. I really do think she should start the match with no swords like this. One in each corner. She's got to unlock them.